And hello, everybody. We are getting started a little early. We'll wait for a couple people to roll in here. Hope everyone is having a great Thursday. And I see we got a couple requests already to chat. We're going to take questions after we do our introduction and hear from our creators. So let's get. We're waiting for our creators to come on here. People starting to pile in right now. Another minute or two. Okay, Anaya. Yeah, Anaya will be speaking. We are waiting for Andromedaverse to pop in here. Okay. Well, it's been a good week for us. Hope it's been a good week for y'all too. Here we go. One final minute to get people to pop in here. Give our 3-minute grace period before people miss anything. Nayo, you need to be on mobile. I'm not sure if you are to speak on Twitter Space. Okay, well, we've reached our 3-minute grace period, so we will go ahead and get started on this week's update and chat with the creators. So the biggest update this week right now is that our marketplace has been moved the deploy date to June 6th, and that's really due to just needing more time to build it and making sure everything is secure with our audit firm. We know it's not the most ideal, and hopefully we'll be able to get it out earlier than that. But right now, a conservative estimate is June 6th, which I believe we would send it to them on May 14th or 26th, and then that would give us time to adjust the changes. Also, Shane is unable to join us today, so you guys are kind of stuck with me with my knowledge. He may be able to pop in a little bit later, but for now, I will be answering all of your questions. And we've gotten a lot of questions about the community vote. We are working really hard to get that back. We're working with the Storybot team as well as working on upgrading some contracts. We want you guys to have the autonomy to choose who's going to be on Launchpad. So we know how important it is, and we're really trying to get it back. So those are two major updates right now. And I want to go ahead and now move on to one kind of a special guest we have today, which is Scott. And he's from the Acre NFT and Refi Punks team. And he made a proposal to make Stargaze carbon neutral. It's on the Commonwealth. You can go have a look, comment, critique, and talk to Scott about it. And he's on right now, so let's hear from Scott.
Yeah, thank you. So this is comes after the osmosis proposal. That's very similar. The goal is just to basically purchase offset credits, carbon offset credits with the community pool, and that makes the entire protocol carbon neutral at the protocol level, not just offsetting on some secondary format or layer 2 or something like that. And I believe this would make Stargaze the very first fully carbon neutral NFT platform that's out there, besides one that's actually carbon neutral at the protocol level, which would be really interesting. And that was part of my reason for even wanting to do this. Was we were talking to a lot of bigger companies, you could say, and they were very nervous about getting into NFTs at all because of the negative connotation that's out there about NFTs and being not very carbon friendly on proof of work blockchains. And it was really hard to explain to them the difference between proof of work and proof of stake. So just being able to tell them, hey, this entire protocol is carbon neutral 100%, and there's not just that middle ground of it's mostly carbon neutral or better, or we can just tell them 100% Stargaze is the place to go for you can put your NFT on there and no guarantee that it's going to be carbon neutral.
Can you explain to us a little bit about regen and how it works with carbon credit?
Yeah, so regen has different methodologies that they group with a bunch of other companies and protocols and create these methodologies for carbon sequestration and other things that create basically invest money into sequestering carbon is a good example. So that, for example, they'll have a grasslands methodology and sequester carbon back into the ground, and then then it creates these credits which represent a ton of carbon sequestered, and then uh, other people that want to offset their carbon footprint can purchase these credits, and we'll be able to purchase those on osmosis very soon. And so, yeah, it basically creates a marketplace for regeneration.
Okay, great. And you mentioned Osmosis is already partaking it has already partaken in a proposal like this. What other chains or organizations have done something similar?
I know a few others are working on it. I'm not sure that anybody else has uh, completed their proposal process, and even this will be like a multi-part process. So this first proposal is it takes a from the beginning of Stargaze up until October. So or the 1 year anniversary of Stargaze, that will be carbon neutral for that whole time. And then after that, we'll need another proposal that creates more sustainable, either offset purchasing through some kind of yield pool or something like that. But yeah, so this will be a 2-part proposal similar to the 3-part one on osmosis. But yeah, I don't know that anybody else. I think there are other people working on it. I don't know that anybody else has completed their proposal yet.
So yeah, this would be a first for NFT chains and really for us. I see you're in the proposal you're requesting 251,000 stars roughly. How did you come up with that number?
Yeah, so that was with the help of Region. They came up with on the proposal. There's a document that shows all the different offsetting, uh, or sorry, all the footprint for all these different Cosmos chains, and that's just based there. There's 3 different categories based on like the lower end footprint, the higher end footprint, like worst case scenario footprint. And so this first proposal is based off the worst case scenario footprint, so we can make sure to kind of start off our foundation solid. And worst case scenario is 3,525 carbon tons, so tons of carbon. So and that's at $10 per credit roughly. So but just based on the price of stars right now, that'll be about 250,000. And then any if the price once this happens, if the price of stars goes back up, and we're able to send some back to the community pool, we'll do that as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, thanks for filling us in, and we'll take some questions afterward. But do you have anything else you want to add about this proposal or about Reef?
No, I think that's it. Everybody, feel free to comment on it on the Commonwealth if they have any issues on it or questions about it. I'll be monitoring it and trying to answer as best I can. And I definitely don't want to be the one taking credit for too much of this. I mean, this is from the help of a lot of different people. So I'm basically just the one kind of bringing everybody else's hard work together. So, if anybody asks me any questions, I'll be able to point them in the right place for sure.
Great, thanks a lot. Also, I want to mention we do have a Twitter Spaces thread in the Discord under General. If you guys want to chat there or ask any questions via text. Let's go ahead and hear from Anayo about his new collection that's launching this week.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Sammy?
Okay, cool. Yeah, cool. So, yeah, Odell.
First, what do you want to know? Yeah, first off, introduce yourself, how you're related with the project, and you tell us a little bit about this one. I think this is the first time we're hearing from you, right?
Yes, this is true. So I'm Sammy, and I am the sort of curator and marketing guy of this annual universe. All art that is part of this annual universe is created by one person, and it's the artist is Esoj Luna, and he's quite an introvert, so he doesn't want to really take part in this kind of things. So I'm doing that for him. He has agreed to do an what's it called, ask me anything kind of thing ahead of the not the one that we're launching tomorrow, but ahead of the next collection. And yeah, so that's who I am, and so all art is created by him, and the art goes back Some of the pieces go back 10 years. So this is art that he's been creating over a long period of time. And I have sort of helped him um, divide them into different collections and make a plan on how to release them and how to make them fit together. And so the collection that releasing tomorrow is a side collection. The annual universe consists of 4 main parts, 25 pieces in each part, and then we have a few side collections. And if you look at all the art, the red thread across all these pieces are these tiny creatures, which is the sigbin. It's a creature from old Filipino folklore. So that's what we have.
Okay, great. Yeah. Can you tell us maybe how you know the artist, maybe your relationship with him, and
I'm Swedish, and I grew up in Sweden, and I live in Sweden. But I used to live in Philippines, and I lived there for 10 years. He's Filipino. Esos Luna is Filipino, and so he was my employee. I had a company in the Philippines where I developed animated films. I'm a writer director. That's my main job, and so he's one of my employees still at the company in the Philippines. And all this art that we're doing now with Anyo is actually his personal work. And when I saw it around a year ago, I mean, the art that he creates, even for my projects, I really think he's amazing. And this Anyo collections and art that he's been doing, I really love them, and they're all like, every single piece is so personal to him. And one of the sort of requirements he had when we decided to collaborate like this was that he will create all the art. Like, all the pieces are all made by him, and so he has each piece has a personal connection to him and his experience in life or whatever. And he's also written poems that goes with each pieces. And all of this will come together in a website that we're developing. And it will be an interactive website where all the art will be there together with the poems. And we're a little bit early in the development of that, but we're hoping to be able to launch one version of the website ahead of the next collection. So coming in May. So every month there will be a release. There will be a side collection and a main official part, and then a side collection and then a main official.
yeah. So this is a side collection, and this is called Of Love and Culture, I believe, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
And it is Of Love and Culture,
Yes, the side collection is called Of Love and Culture.
right? Yeah, and the theme of it is love and culture.
Yes, I mean, yeah, this is how he interprets love and culture. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, well, thank you very much. Yeah, we'll hear from Andromedaverse right now. Oh, also one quick question: how many pieces and how much are they selling for?
Of Love and Culture is sort of limited edition thing, and it's only 10 pieces, and they sell for 10,190 stars.
Right. Yeah. So very defined art collection.
Yes.
Okay. Let's hear from Andromedaverse.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. I know you said you're gonna have a couple of people who may be on your team, who may want to speak. If you want to have them request talking, I'll allow them to speak.
Okay, it's if they request, it's Sin, the Electrician, Goose Wizard are the ones that I see that are on.
Okay, yeah, I see Goose Wizard has requested.
And then you already know Emily. I don't know if she's gonna speak, or she usually does the speaking for us, but
It's all good.
Hop on, special occasion.
Yeah, so I guess tell us about this specific mint and the project overall.
so this specific mint, it's actually 10% of our full collection. The full collection will be 8,888. This is 10% of it, which is 888, and it's the first 888. Basically, our plan is to mint the rest later. We're in the process of building our own chain, like our own sovereign Cosmos SDK chain, and we're going to reissue those 888 on that chain, as well as the rest of the 8,000 to make up the full collection. But these specific ones, they're selling for 2,100 stars, and yeah, I mean,
Well, I guess could you tell us a little bit about what the final collection is supposed to be like? Maybe like why are you doing this preview mint right now? What's the purpose of it?
so basically, we've been building the community for a few months now. Like we've been public and building the community for a few months, and we have a lot of people that have just been basically patiently waiting to, have a piece of Andromaverse, and that just are really interested in the project. And this kind of just guarantees them a spot. Like it's more of an early access thing. Everybody in like just the market. I don't know. There's a thing about now. Like everybody likes to do things now, so we thought we'd meet them halfway and do a preview mint.
When do you anticipate, like, what's the progress on your other chain launching? When do you anticipate the other 8,000 NFTs to drop?
So we have a bit of a rule in our community. We keep all of our dates to be determined because, yeah, I mean, I use you guys as an example, but I mean, even if you've done something 100 times, like I use the example of like we're getting renovations on my house, and even if they say, oh yeah, it's going to take a week to do this, even though they've done it a million times, and they, it's bound to take twice as long or 3 times as long, or maybe it'll take half as long. Like it's just seldom in life comes as you plan it or as expected, because life is life, and it's kind of how things work. And we've built that into our model, because when people they get a date, like they pin everything against it, and it can really destroy a project if they're missing their dates. And it's just, I mean, things happen, like people get sick, things slow down, there might be security issues, there might be, I mean, even driving to work, like, you plan half an hour and then, there's an accident on the road and it takes you an extra 2 hours. And then, so we just avoid dates altogether.
Can you tell us a little bit though about where you are in the current state of the project? Like, how has it team formed? Like, have you guys had models for the game? Are you in the testnet phase?
Lots of questions. So I mean, we can talk about chain. Our testnet should be live in probably around the same time as Stargaze Marketplace for our chain, but we shouldn't hold those dates in your head. But just to give you like a general idea of like where we are and working on that. In terms of what we're working on now in game is a lot of the back end coding for all the character actions and whatnot. And we've developed a lot of the visual assets and basically rigging those characters and everything to like act the way they should.
I can talk a bit about this if you'd like. Stay. Yeah, so I was brought onto this project as a Unity tech artist, and so my job has basically been taking our characters into Unity and rigging them up. Unity has a great new 2D rigging system that has been working super well with our project because, they're all sort of the same shape character. Obviously, we have 3 different body shapes, but within each of those 3 shapes, we can then take each individual one and have them able to share a rig and share animations, which is super cool. And so we've just been getting all of the tech for that together. We've been setting up some little VFX. We've got a great VFX artist on the team. We've been setting up some great environments. We've got an amazing environment artist on the team. And the game is just going to be beautiful. We're using all these new Unity features and making it as awesome as it can be, which is another good reason not to have dates, because we really want to do this right. So who knows how long perfection takes, but we're willing to take the time and make it absolutely amazing.
Oh, I'm going to add on to that. We plan to like waterfall everything with the game. So it'll be or should be playable before it's completely done. It's
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
That's built into the system.
And do people who buy these preview mints, do they get anything special outside of the other 8,000 ones that drop?
Yes, absolutely. But so we've thought really ahead in this. Once these, the preview mint gets to the marketplace, the market's going to decide a price for these. And depending on the price that the market finds is going to basically determine the amount of added benefit that those first holders will get, if that makes sense. And then we'd be able to price the second one, like the larger mint, properly. We're using the added benefits for the first as a way of balancing out the two mints, if that makes sense.
Okay, I think so. Yeah, so you're kind of going to use the secondary market as to see what like the price would sustain for the larger collection.
Yeah. So, for example, if I know a lot of people listening are fans of Strange Clan, and they did their mint in two different bunches, and for the second mint, they're trying to decide like, okay, or they had to decide the people they get a different airdrop allocation for first town and second town, and they've kind of determined this on like how the price is settled because now the price of town one is like 10x what it started at. Like they're going for several thousand instead of several hundred. So they had to, the town one people get a much larger airdrop and also, I believe land and whatnot. So we'd basically figure in and do the math on that later. But short answer, yes, absolutely. The people that are partaking in the first mint, they will have added benefits.
Okay, great. I think we'll open it up for some questions right now. I know we had a couple of people earlier that wanted to ask some stuff. So if you have any questions also for off Love and Culture, Anyo, I know he may have to leave here pretty soon, so let's try and get his questions in earlier. Anybody? And then we've got a couple of people who...
Yeah, I've got a small question for Scott.
Oh, Joseph, go for it.
My name's Joseph. I'm the front end over here, and I have a small question for Scott. I saw a proposal on Commonwealth, and I think this is a discussion we had internally too. Everyone was that we want people to be posting their proposals on Commonwealth first, and I think you're setting a great example. And I couldn't help but notice that you only outlined the first step of what seems to be a multi-step proposal. And I wanted to know what your plans for the future of your proposal are.
Yeah, if the timeline was a bit shorter, I felt it would have made sense to post the rest. But I think it's a little bit of a community discussion. We have until October to kind of figure out next steps for keeping Stargaze carbon neutral. We could do as little as kind of just doing this same proposal again, which would work just fine, but isn't quite like a sustainable plan. But the next step ideally would be create some kind of like yield bearing pool that would kind of consistently buy the exact accurate number of carbon credits that we need to offset. This proposal is worst case scenario, so it would ideally it would be a little bit less for the next proposal, and that would make it so we could basically perpetually be carbon neutral for forever.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, and one thing I think I mentioned to you guys was that it would be kind of cool if we can put a little bit more in there and Stargaze could be a carbon negative chain. So the mere existence of Stargaze is good for the environment. Let's see now.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Let's see. Any more questions? Feel free to request to speak. Raise your hand and we'll get you in. Lolly?
Just want to say yes to carbon negative. That's mainly it. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be a part of Stargaze, and I'm so excited to know that this is like a general direction. And I have a degree in sustainable food systems and environmental ethics, and just like the culmination of all of it is really exciting. So that's
Yeah, I agree. That's huge. We love to see it.
I think it really set Stargaze apart. I mean, we're setting Stargaze up to be the biggest NFT platform, and this is definitely part of it. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm in the Bay Area, and there's a lot of like identity politics stuff going on, and a lot of artists, like, so I think Scott, you mentioned, or someone mentioned, like, people are really on the fence about getting into NFTs, like crypto is evil, and like I've gotten people sending me memes like they don't really know much about crypto, but they know proof of work and they know that it's dirty. And so a lot of artists were kind of like, I know someone who almost got canceled basically for like wanting to launch an NFT series because of this, like the whole like fractionalization and identity politics, and like how do you move forward knowing and I think that it's important to like take that into account. But anyways, the point is, yes, Stargaze, this is amazing. And to have artists be able to say, actually, this is a carbon negative, like I'm not only giving my art to the world and making a living as an artist, but also able to proudly say that I'm helping the earth and helping advance technology in a green direction. It's just, yes, as I said, very exciting.
And sorry, go ahead, Scott.
I was saying, no, that's exactly right. I mean, that was kind of where the idea came from a little bit. Besides the osmosis proposal, was we had trouble reaching out to other kind of traditional or bigger companies that don't know about the NFT space because of this carbon issue that's floating over all blockchains. And so this will set us apart. I hope for outside of crypto, people that aren't in crypto. This will set us apart.
Yeah, and every mint of an NFT, there's a 10% protocol fee, half of which gets burned and the other half goes to the community pool. So every time if this proposal does go through, every time you mint an NFT, half of those fees will go to the community pool, and that's what's going to be funding this proposal. So yeah, keep on minting and the environment. Let's see here. All right. Questions for Anyo? I know we have is this crypto nomad? Crypto nomad.
Yeah, close enough. Sorry, it just cuts off most of my name. I'm around. I'm crypto nomad. I'm working on the Time Crash NFT project, but I don't want to shill myself here. I actually wanted to ask about Andromeda Verse, and I definitely caught some things on a couple of YouTube channels about it, and it looks really cool. I really love the whole general idea of running around and getting your little monsters and whatnot. I just was more curious about like what are the quest things that are kind of going on right now in the Discord. I don't fully understand them.
Oh, so that's when we first went public. We had a giveaway, some of our NFTs and some other things, whitelists and whatnot. And we just decided to make a quest as like the first one, as one of the like steps in order to get entries for the contest, just to get people engaged and whatnot. And people just they loved it. So we made 37 more, and the rest is kind of history. It's basically just for fun, for people's entertainment. Like, I mean, we're that's our thesis basically. Like we entertain, so it's mostly for entertainment. We incentivize, we give away stars. For this last one, we're giving away one of our Stargaze punks, and we give away. It's just fun contest for the most part. There's also a lot of secrets wrapped up in it, and there's a lot of hidden incentives that we don't talk about, but there's about 60 or 70 really enthusiastic community members that'll basically just give you a rabbit hole emoji.
Fair enough. I just I have so many things going on. I don't have time to dig into your quest, and I was just trying to see what exactly kind of things you guys were having people achieve or do as the goals.
Yeah, it's mostly just things based on pop culture and whatnot, and it's just for fun. You don't have to worry about actually getting them done.
Yeah, Rich says, please. I'm from Warp APH Club, an upcoming NFT project. So I have a question for Annual NFC. So you said, are you guys launching tomorrow or what? I didn't really get that part. Are you launching tomorrow? Annual NFT.
Yes, we're launching in 23 and a half hours, right? Tomorrow, yeah. And that's a limited edition collection of 10 pieces. That's what we're launching tomorrow. And then every month we're launching one collection. So tomorrow is of love and culture. Then in May, you will be official annual part 2. There will be 25 pieces. And then in June, it's the Garden of Overthinkers. It's also a limited edition 10-piece collection. And then in July, it's Annual Official Part 3, which is 25 pieces. And then, keep going.
Oh, you also had, I think, something that you guys were the little cat-looking creatures, right?
Right. So, so that's the tiny Sigbin. It's that comes from the folklore, and that's a collection called Z Creatures, and that will be 1,000 pieces. But that's not the same sort of like fine art thing. That's more of the typical avatar thing. So each holder of an annual piece, whether it's the official annual parts or the side collections, will be airdropped one Z creature, and then you can also buy Z creatures as an avatar as well.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Are you planning to do any other kind of maybe like animations, or you say, I know there's poems involved in there. Any other type of visual art?
We call it the annual universe, and it's because there's so much. This one guy has created so much art, and he has so many ideas and so many stories. And I am looking into different ways of bringing these stories to life. And we're looking into graphic novel or animation. I work in animation myself, so we are looking into a lot of different things. Nothing is sort of set in stone yet, except from all the collections that we've announced and the website. But there are more things coming. But I don't want to say any more than that right now.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, when you're buying a piece, you're buying it really for like the art and the visual aesthetic, and pretty much leave it at that.
For now, but we want to grow this. We want to keep expanding this universe.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It seems like you already have a good community. Sorry, Mary, I may have cut you off. Do you have another question? Okay, maybe not. Any more questions from the audience? We have an open spot.
I want to hear more. Can I ask more about the game? I missed the title of it. What? Oh wait, Andromeda Verse. Is that the game?
Yeah. What's the question?
What's the future vision for like when everything's fully like immersed and launched, and obviously things are going to continue evolving because it's the nature of the space, but like what is the current like vision that you have for it?
I actually love that question. So our art style and everything is basically based on, like, I don't know if anybody's heard of Studio Ghibli, or the bigger one is Nintendo. So they've managed to do this thing that like none of the other games have done, or like movies. And it's this thing about like being timeless. So we looked at that, and the reason we don't use like photorealistic things, like trying to make everything like super HD and like everything crazy, is to make things more timeless. Like, I mean, Mario's on like a 30-year run, and like people love Pokemon after I don't even know how long. And so the vision was to create something that's timeless, and then, put it on blockchain and decentralize it, and have people not get tired of it after a year, or like, you know what I mean? Like, just really like this vision of timelessness. So
Yeah,
people have something lasting.
some of the first gameplay elements that we're hoping to roll out, because we are going to roll out features one by one, maybe starting with 2 or 3 features, and then just so people can get their hands in the game, and going forward. One of the things that we would love to implement first is battling, so sort of like a Pokemon element. Definitely this element of like hatching eggs, and you get different mystery creatures and different stones that could change the look of your Ami and make them really beautiful, and little like hide and seek items where you could be exploring the world and send your Ami out to go collect certain things for you, or gather and all that good stuff. So lots of fun things coming up.
Crypto Nomad, do you have a question?
I had a really good one there for a second. I kind of lost it. It just like sploofed out of my brain there. It was around that whole timelessness of the whole situation, and I'll come back in a sec.
There was like the Mario vision, the 30-year timeline, and the timelessness, the idea of time. Can you say another thing about Miyazaki? Or like Studio Ghibli, please.
Yeah, our artists are the biggest Studio Ghibli fans, so we're really using it as an inspiration, especially in the environments. We're hoping with the combination of Unity's new lighting system and our kick-ass environment artist who, uses a lot of Ghibli inspiration, that we can get that sort of lovely, lovely day, beautiful little adventure vibes in our art and environments for sure. Sort of magical outer space adventure.
Nice. We all love Studio Ghibli here. I did remember my question though, and this is something I'm going to be working on in my own project, and it's a frustration in any kind of crypto-based play-to-earn gaming out there. First of all, obviously, we all want to make it fun, which is number one for any game, but entry cost. So in 10 years from now, even just in 6 months from now, when there may or may not be playable aspects of the game and any kind of monetization or whatever it is that you guys are going for with this, what is your take on, and how are you going to keep entry price for new players reasonable? Because nobody wants to sit here and try and pay $300 for what is an Axie, just so you can buy 2 more to even start the game. Like, how are you going to make it so that people who are new and not getting in here at the very beginning are capable of getting in without spending $500?
So that's actually something I've thought a lot about. A lot of my original work, like in Web 2 world, like I was an analyst and degree in economics, but basically we have like a limiting factor. So basically, we have, in order to breed, you need 2 Almi and this thing, the breeding stone. Like we have a large stone economy that do a lot of different things in the game, but one of the stones is called the breeding stone, and this number's kind of like the number of breeding stones that you can find in the world or win in the world of Andromeda. They're based off of the amount, like the floor price of the NFTs. So basically, when there's a lot of demand, the amount of breeding stones that people can find in a wild, it increases. And then when there's less demand, that number decreases. And then if the demand gets terrible, then there's a pool to buy them back. So we have basically a little formula that kind of balances everything out.
Okay, that's a pretty neat mechanism, actually. And so in due time, when the game is fully playable, what would the process of a brand new person getting into the game kind of be like?
So, we want to make it playable, even if you don't own one of them. So, like, of course, if you want to own your NFT, you can go and buy it if you so choose. But if not, and you just want to take part in the world, you can take part in the world without even having to pay for anything. But you wouldn't own anything either because you didn't buy anything. But you could definitely play.
Okay, well, that sounds pretty cool. Thank you.
It's almost similar to like the what I hear about music NFTs is that people, if you have music NFTs, you could still enjoy the music as well, but you wouldn't actually own it. Like the value comes from ownership, but the propagation is like derivatives. Like the more it's out in the world, the more the value increases. But yeah, very interesting. Lolly, yeah, you were gonna say something.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. I don't know if you guys said it already about the game, but is it mobile friendly or mobile first? That's the question. And also, I had a conversation with the Jiho from Axie about this, and I actually recorded his response. And I'm happy to share it with you guys if you DM me. But it was like that was a huge emphasis that he put on that, as he said, from his experience, that whatever it is, it should be mobile first. So yeah, that's it.
Sorry, I had my mic muted. But the idea is to make it as accessible as we can make it to people. That's why it's also really cool to not make it a super heavy game with like photorealism. Is just like that's one of the reasons that actually did so well. Is like art does so well. I shouldn't say did. The fact that people globally have been able to play and have had access to it without having like a crazy gaming computer with a $3,000 graphics card, like so the intention is to run with web and mobile, but I mean, we'd push web if we had to first because but plan is to try to do them together. It just depends on what it looks like. But with Unity, we can export on the different platforms.
Great. And this game is going to be, you're planning for it to be off chain initially, right?
So like the game plays off chain. We want to host it on a cache eventually, but the game would run off chain, but all the assets and the ownership would be on chain. So like the hosting of it at first would be off chain, but like your Omni ownership and like all of your stone assets, like those would all be on chain and like ownable by the player.
Okay, great.
So basically, it we'd be doing polls, like database polls of looking at which accounts own which assets, and basically pulling that into Goose Wizard's rigs, and then you'd be able to. Does it make? It's kind of a complicated thing to explain on Twitter Spaces without visuals.
I'm not as into the gaming NFT stuff, but I assume that, yeah, like you said, the gameplay and all of that happens off chain, but maybe some of the results get rolled up into an on chain like transaction or something, right? Like if you're whoever,
like your coins and everything, like your ownership of the NFT, the coins that you get, or like all the things that you craft, like those would all be on chain. So everything that involves like player ownership, that constantly gets updated on chain, but you're not actually like doing 100% of everything on chain because everything doesn't need a transaction.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Any other questions for Andromedaverse or Scott with the carbon neutral proposal? We got time for another question or two. Anybody else? You may not get to talk to these guys again for a bit. We got one. Let's see here. Sunnyside Reapers, you're up. Are you? Yeah, Sunnyside.
We were looking into it and we saw, like, are you guys basically have any intention at all of releasing on either the App Store or the Google Play Store? I know Acti Infinity, for instance, is not on it. I think
You're going in and out.
Yeah, we can't hear you really. Can you repeat the question?
Yep.
Sorry. Yeah, we still can't hear you. I'm sorry.
I can answer the first part of the question. Basically, that like the decision with that, like the Apple Store and the Google Play Store, that's like the reason NFT games aren't doing that is that's a legal battle. Like that's way above us. That's way above like what our intention is. You have to pay the app stores basically. Like Apple and Google, they take like 30% of all the in-app transfers. Like actually, Epic Games is in a current lawsuit with them. Epic Games that makes Fortnite over this transaction thing, and like the fact that we'd be transacting with crypto, and like it's just there's a reason they're not on there, and it's just like really sloppy legally. So only real answer I can give you.
Gotcha. And can you hear me, or am I still cutting out?
I can hear you.
Okay. Just to build on that real quick, I realized with the transactions that creates a lot of issues. What we were looking into, and it doesn't sound like you guys are going this route. From a legal standpoint, could you just have it where it verifies your NFTs in the App Store, but then you don't actually do any transactions in the App Store itself? Transactions would need to occur outside of your app. And again, mostly looking at the Google side of things. Apple, I'm not big on for multiple reasons, but that was kind of one of the routes that we were looking at.
It's better to like go outside of the store and still have it as a downloadable app, but just not through the store. Um, we, I would look into, like, if you're asking for you, I would look into, what do you call it? Like them only be able to play through the app store if like buying NFTs or transactions aren't a thing. Like if it's just completely free play just to like get people into the community. And then like if they want the version of the game that, has crypto and NFTs and everything in it, to go, venture out and get that version of it so they can do it. This is probably the cleanest way to do that.
Okay. No, perfect. That's kind of what we were wondering as an option. Thank you.
And also, this question would be a really good question for Shane to answer because he is intimately familiar with having apps on the App Store. So maybe you could come by again next week if he's on and ask that question to him because I'm sure he'd have a lot to say about it.
Perfect. Yep. I'll check in next week.
Let's see now. We've got time for another question or two. Anybody else?
Can we talk a couple more minutes about like the proposal, and like just regenerative finance in general? Maybe this is a good moment to like share.
Oh, there is anything particular you'd want to know that Scott hasn't addressed or anything, Scott, you want to tell us that you may have just remembered?
How about some more hidden, less well known advantages of this, maybe, or like some like twinkle in your eye dreams for the future when Stargaze is fully carbon negative and like there's like hidden features that you're excited about?
Yeah, I guess that would be just like a bigger dream for refi in general. I used to be like fairly pessimistic, I guess, about just environmental causes in general. I couldn't really see a way out of the current way things are going, and until I learned about what crypto could actually do and refi and regen, doing the more we do at the protocol level, like creating carbon neutral blockchains and funding these on-chain methodology projects. That to me, that's just like that's a way of doing it without all this red tape from government or other actors, or there's no lobbyists that can get involved in bringing in their own desires or whatever. We can just fund and incentivize the behavior we want to see in the world, and that just blew me away, and is really motivating to me for the future.
Beautiful. We have another speaker on with a question.
Yes. Hello, guys. I want to ask about Andromeda punks. What's the relationship? What's the relationship with Stargaze, and what are they, Andromeda punks?
Okay, that's so this was before kind of a secret project of ours. We've had the Twitter for a while. So this is our second project we've released. We also are behind the project Stargaze Punks. So it's kind of a cross between the two. And these Andromeda Punks are just a free drop for people that have basically supported both of our projects. Like none of them are being sold. Like we refuse to sell any of them. Of course, second market, like do whatever you want with it. It's your property. But it's just a little Easter egg, basically. We're taking 2 snapshots, one after Andromaverse mint. We'll snapshot like who owns our punks and who owns our Ami eggs. And then when Marketplace opens, shortly after Marketplace opens, we'll take snapshots again and see like who held it through that period waiting for Stargaze Marketplace. So it's also a reward for the people that hodl and are patient for everything.
A wallet has to have the two Andromaverse and Stargaze punks.
Mm-hmm. If you hold both projects in the same wallet, is basically the way that you would get them.
Okay. Thank you.
So speaking of Stargaze punks, I know there's a lot of OTC trading going on. I'm sure in your Discord there's stuff like that. You want to talk a little bit about that maybe and how that's looking?
So we don't allow peer-to-peer trading inside of our Discord, strictly because I just refuse to facilitate it because the likelihood of scams with it, like there's no guarantee that the person's actually gonna send it, but we encourage people to go and do whatever they want with their property. It's just a at your risk thing, but we don't allow the peer-to-peer trading or facilitating that inside the Discord just because we don't want any sad people or scam people to be sad because of us.
Understood. Let's see. Now we got time for another question. If not, we can call it a day. Anybody? Okay. Well, guys, it was great talking to all of y'all and learning about the projects and the new proposal, and looking forward to Freshman Friday. Get your Andromedaverse and Anyos.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for joining. You guys have a great day.
Bye.